It came to represent a movement. 50 years on, Rita Braver is talking with some of the women behind Ms. Magazine.
I had an abortion when I was in London, and why has this common experience not been spoken about?
Gloria Steinem's story begins on March 25, 1934, in Toledo, Ohio, but her entry into the world was far from ordinary. She was born inside a small trailer hitched to her father's Dodge, a symbol of the unstable life that awaited her. Her father, Leo, made his living selling antiques, always on the road, chasing deals from one place to another. This meant Gloria's childhood was filled with movement and uncertainty. Her mother, Ruth, had once been a respected newspaper reporter, but shortly after Gloria's birth, Ruth suffered a severe mental breakdown. She began hearing voices, seeing things that weren't real, and believing the radio was speaking directly to her. These struggles left Ruth unable to care for her family in the way she wanted, and by the time Gloria was 10 years old, she had already attended 12 different schools. When Gloria's father finally abandoned the family during a snowstorm in Michigan in 1944, she and her mother were left to survive in a freezing, unsafe house in Toledo. Gloria, still just a child, had to take responsibility for everything, buying groceries, paying bills, and caring for her mother. Those years taught her how money independence could trap women in painful ways, and she often recalled sneaking coins from milk bottles so her mother would not have to beg her father for help. This early experience of instability and hardship planted the seeds of her lifelong fight for women's independence and equality. Despite the challenges of her home life, Gloria worked hard to succeed in school. At 16, she found a small lifeline when a church bought their rundown house, which allowed her to move in with her older sister in Washington, D.C. There, she attended Western High School, juggling babysitting jobs and cashier work to afford food and transportation. Even with the heavy weight of responsibilities, Gloria excelled, making the honor roll and graduating in 1952. She had learned to keep her achievements quiet at home to avoid upsetting her mother, but she carried her academic success forward. That fall, Gloria earned a full scholarship to Smith College, one of the top women's schools in the country, where she studied government. She quickly proved herself not only as a brilliant student but also as someone unafraid to challenge authority. In 1953, at the height of Senator Joseph McCarthy's anti-communist crusades, Gloria helped organize a mock trial on campus that mocked the senator's baseless accusations. It was a bold move that drew press attention and showed her willingness to question power. Despite warnings from professors that her activism might hurt her career, Gloria didn't back down. She graduated with honors in 1956, her resilience already marking her as someone destined for a greater purpose. In 1957, just before traveling to India on a fellowship, Gloria's life took a turn that she would keep secret for years. She became pregnant, a terrifying reality at a time when abortion was illegal both in the United States and Britain. In London, a kind doctor named John Sharp agreed to help her, risking prison time if he were discovered. He asked only that she keep his name secret and live her life as she truly wanted. This experience, though painful, became one of the defining moments of Gloria's life. She often said later that without his help, she may never have become a writer or activist. For years, she kept this secret close to her heart, fearing judgment and consequences, until she finally revealed it in 1971 while listening to other women share their abortion stories. This turning point transformed her from a journalist into an activist, as she realized the power of speaking openly about experiences society wanted women to hide. That moment of truth marked the beginning of her lifelong fight for women's reproductive rights and freedom of choice. Between 1957 and 1960, Gloria spent significant time in India, traveling thousands of miles, living in villages, and studying the struggles of rural women. She lived simply, often surviving on just a few rupees a day, and walked with villagers who were part of the land gift movement, a campaign where landowners gave land to the poor. What struck Gloria most deeply was the strength of women in these communities, women from lower castes who labored tirelessly for survival yet still shared what little they had. She observed how power, class, and gender were tightly connected, long before the term intersectionality was widely used. These experiences shaped her understanding of social justice, teaching her that real change often started not in government buildings but at village wells, where women gathered daily. When she returned to the United States, Gloria began writing articles, but her career was not easy. She worked as a waitress, struggled with rejections, and fought to make her voice heard in a male-dominated media world. Yet slowly, her words began to reach readers, and she built a reputation as someone unafraid to write about uncomfortable truths, from birth control to women's workplace struggles. In 1963, Gloria made a bold move that shocked the media world. She went undercover as a Playboy bunny at the New York Playboy Club, working long hours under strict rules, low pay, and constant objectification. For 17 days, she endured the exhausting conditions, secretly taking notes and hiding them in her sleeves. Her exposé, published as a 2-part series, revealed the reality behind the glamorous image of the club. While the article brought attention to the exploitation of women, it also brought criticism. Some editors dismissed her as just a pretty face who used her looks for stories. But Gloria didn't let that stop her. Her determination to use journalism as a tool for truth-telling only grew stronger. Around the same time, she also faced personal pain when she endured harassment and assault from powerful men in the media industry. These experiences made her even more committed to fighting for women's rights. She refused to name her abusers, but years later, many were exposed as predators. Her silence at the time reflected the struggles women faced when speaking out was seen as career-ending, a reality she only fully addressed publicly decades later. In March 1969, Gloria attended a small meeting in a New York church basement. She had come only to report on it as a journalist, but what she heard changed her forever. One by one, women stood and shared their painful stories of illegal abortions, stories filled with fear, exploitation, and near-death experiences. Sitting in the back, Gloria felt something shift inside her. For the first time, she shared her own abortion story from 1957, breaking a silence she had kept for years. She later called this her big click, the moment when she crossed from being just an observer to becoming part of the movement. Soon after, she wrote her famous essay After Black Power, Women's Liberation, comparing the struggles of racism and sexism and pointing out the deep inequalities women faced in wages and opportunities. The response was explosive. Hundreds of women reached out, wanting to join the cause, while others mocked her. But Gloria had become a voice that could no longer be ignored. In 1971, Gloria and other activists founded Ms. Magazine, a publication that would forever change women's media. The preview issue, published as an insert in New York Magazine, sold 300,000 copies in just 8 days, shocking the male-dominated publishing world. Letters and subscriptions poured in, proving there was a massive audience for women's voices. The first full issue, released in 1972, boldly tackled topics like welfare, abortion, lesbian motherhood, and sexist language. Retailers in some states refused to sell it, but that didn't stop its success. Gloria made sure women were in charge of every aspect of the magazine's production, declaring that women's stories should never again have to wait for men's approval. Ms. not only gave women a platform but also became a tool for activism. When the magazine published a full-page statement with 53 famous women admitting they had abortions, thousands of readers signed and joined, pushing the issue into the national spotlight. This boldness helped build momentum leading to the Supreme Court's decision in Roe v. Wade in 1973. Through the 1970s and beyond, Gloria Steinem became one of the most recognized voices of feminism. She spoke at rallies across the country, often facing hecklers but always responding with sharp wit and calm confidence. She co-founded organizations like the Women's Action Alliance and the National Women's Political Caucus, helping women gain political power and fight workplace discrimination. Her activism wasn't limited to the United States. She also brought attention to global issues, such as female genital mutilation, which she called violence rather than culture. Despite financial struggles with Ms. Magazine and backlash from critics, she stayed firm in her belief that women's stories and rights mattered. In the 1980s and 1990s, she continued writing, speaking, and influencing policy, even when her personal life remained largely private. She often said her work was not just political but deeply personal, shaped by the struggles and pain she had endured from childhood. Even after decades of public life, Gloria kept some of her deepest struggles private until much later. In her 2015 memoir My Life on the Road, she revealed that as a child, she had been sexually abused by family acquaintances, an experience that explained why she often slept with the lights on well into adulthood. By sharing this late in life, she showed once again that silence about painful truths only protects abusers, not victims. In her personal life, Gloria surprised many when she married at the age of 66 to David Bale, father of actor Christian Bale. She called their marriage the happiest political act of her life, though it ended too soon when he passed away in 2003. Despite personal losses and constant criticism from those opposed to her views, Gloria never stopped traveling, speaking, and pushing for equality. In 2013, President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, honoring her lifetime of activism and courage. Now, at 91, Gloria Steinem's legacy stands as a powerful reminder that one voice, even when silenced for years, can rise to change the world. In November 1983, she spoke at a Senate hearing explaining how porn fueled real-world violence. Her words influenced the Me Report in 1984 and helped shape a 1986 bill, though it didn't pass. Even so, her efforts changed how lawmakers talked about sexual exploitation. And in 2013, President Barack Obama gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He said she had turned outrage into action. That medal honored everything she had done, even the work that didn't always make headlines. For many years, Gloria Steinem was known for saying, "A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle." That's why people were shocked when she got married at age 66. On September 3, 2000, she married David Bale, a South African-born businessman, who was also Christian Bale's father. The ceremony took place at the home of Cherokee Chief Wilma Manila in Oklahoma. Instead of saying husband and wife, they chose to call each other partners. They had separate homes in New York and Los Angeles and never mixed their finances. Gloria didn't change her last name. Just a little over 3 years later, on December 30, 2003, David Bale passed away from brain lymphoma. Gloria later called their marriage the happiest political act of my life. Many couldn't believe she had married at all. But it showed what she had always believed, that it's not your age that shapes your life, but the choices you make. In 2015, Gloria shared something she had kept private for over 80 years. Gloria Steinem's impact goes far beyond her own time. When she first rose to fame in the 1960s and 1970s, women had very limited opportunities in politics, media, and leadership. Many of them were expected to stay home, raise children, and not question the roles society had assigned to them. Steinem's work helped open doors for future generations of women who would later run companies, enter politics, and work in industries that were once considered male-only. She gave a voice to issues like equal pay, workplace rights, and reproductive freedom, which inspired millions of young women to believe that they could choose their own path in life. Her leadership also encouraged men to rethink old traditions and support gender equality in their own families. Even today, many women who enter public service, journalism, or activism see Steinem as a role model. She showed that one person can spark a movement, and that courage and persistence can create real change. Like any strong and outspoken leader, Gloria Steinem faced a fair share of controversies. Some critics accused her of being too radical, while others said she wasn't radical enough. For example, when she admitted that the CIA had secretly funded some of her student trips abroad in the 1950s, opponents tried to use that against her, claiming she was secretly connected to powerful institutions. Others in the feminist movement sometimes disagreed with her strategies. Some activists thought she was too focused on middle-class white women, and not enough on women of color or working-class struggles. She also faced personal attacks from conservative politicians and media outlets, who tried to paint her as anti-family or anti-men. But Steinem always responded calmly, often saying that feminism was not about hating men, it was about giving women the same choices and freedoms men already had. While these criticisms created heated debates, they also kept her at the center of national conversations about women's rights, which helped push the movement forward. As Gloria Steinem grew older, she continued to play a role in activism, but she also shifted into more of a mentoring position. She wrote several books, gave speeches around the world, and appeared on television to discuss current issues. Even in her 80s, she remained active, reminding people that the fight for equality was not finished. In 2013, President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States, for her lifetime of work. Steinem accepted it not just for herself, but for the countless women who had stood beside her in the movement. She also supported younger activists, reminding them that feminism is not a closed chapter in history but an ongoing story. Today, her name is often mentioned in classrooms, history books, and discussions about social justice. She has become more than just a person, she represents a symbol of courage, freedom, and persistence in the face of resistance.